Hi everyone, welcome to part 11 of Diana dress. I have to edge the armhole openings, and the edge at the armhole openings is the same as the edge at the neckline. Join the new yarn to this tail that we left in the previous videos, and you're going to start with chain 3 to replace the first double crochet. And then you're going to have a chain 1 for the space, and then double crochet into this treble, into the middle of the treble, and then chain 1, double crochet into this stitch. So you're going to have 2 little windows per each space around the whole armhole opening. At the end, when you get to the end, so this is going to be your last chain 1, and then slip stitch into the third chain stitch of the first double crochet. Round 2 of the edging starts with chain 1 and then a single crochet into this same stitch. Chain 3, 3 double crochet cluster into the next second double crochet, 1, 2 into this one, work a 3 double crochet cluster, and then chain 3 and into the next second, 1, 2 into the next second double crochet, work a single crochet. So if you pay attention, this little shell, or I don't know how to call this, but this little section of the pattern, this here, it will be on 2 big spaces or on 4 little windows, right? Around, you should have 20 sections of this pattern repeat. And when you get to the end, slip stitch into this first single crochet of this round, and you're ready to start the next round. So chain 1 and work 4 single crochets into the next space. And then on top of the cluster, work single crochet, picot out of chain 3, slip stitch into the third chain from hook, and 1 more single crochets on top of this cluster, and then 4 single crochets into the next and into each space around. So that's all you have for this edging. At the end, slip stitch into the first single crochet, cut the yarn and weave it in, and the edging is done. And repeat this whole process for the next armhole opening, for the other one, not for the next. All right, my armhole edging are done, both of these, and I actually have this as a leftover. So for a dress without sleeves, 5 skeins of Clea 1000 is enough. For a dress with sleeves, you're going to need 6 skeins. I will be using my pink sample in order to show you an option for a sleeve. I already worked 1 sleeve just for you to see how it's going to look. For starters, make sure to join the new yarn to the tail that we left at the very beginning when we started the dress. Let's put the stitch marker right here in between these trebles at the bottom center of the armhole opening. And then with the 1.75mm hook, you're ready to start on your sleeve. So I'm not going to start my work into this point, but I will start my work into this stitch. What I'm going to do, I'm going to insert my hook into this stitch here, and leaving the thread loosely, I'll just do this. See, so I don't tug it too much and it's not too loose, like that. So I need to work a cluster, a 2 treble cluster. So chain 3 for the first one, and then skip the next 2 spaces. So this 1 space and then 2, and into the next stitch work a treble, an unfinished treble, that is. So you go through first through 2 and then another 2, and then you finish this together as a cluster like that. And then continue with chain 4 into the next treble, as if work a popcorn out of 5 trebles. And then chain 4 and treble into the next stitch. And have, after each popcorn, have 6 spaces of chain 4 and treble into the next stitch. So that's the second space for me. And then another chain 4, treble into the next stitch. That would be my third space. Fourth space. Fifth space. And one more. Here, once we have our chain 4 for the 6th space, make sure to work a popcorn into the next treble, because the stitch pattern in this round requires 6 spaces between popcorns. Done. So keep going like this, working 6 spaces and then a popcorn all the way to the end. Once you get to the shoulder seam, remember where we work the straps. Make sure to put a stitch marker at the middle here at the seam, so you know that this is the top middle of your sleeve. Once you have worked your last popcorn of this first round, work a treble into the beginning cluster. Remember where we started? Work a treble into this cluster. Like this. Round 2 starts the same as the first one, with chain 3 and then treble into the popcorn, as always, into this space here. That's your beginning 2 treble cluster. Okay, so see, there are like diamond shapes on top of each other at the bottom middle of the sleeve. All right, chain 4 into the next treble, work a popcorn. Work 4 spaces of chain 4 and treble into the next treble. So that's my first space. Second space. Third space. So once you have your last chain 4 worked, you need to work a popcorn into the next treble. followed by 2 spaces of chain 4, treble into the next stitch, and one more time. So here you have to think like this. First you're gonna close the space so that you have 2 spaces, but here you have to have a popcorn. So in round 2, the stitch pattern tells you to have a popcorn before and after the popcorn of the previous round. Okay, since I already worked a treble here, I'm going to add 4 more trebles to create that popcorn. And this is like a cluster of popcorns. So in between these clusters, in this round now you have to have 4 spaces in between them. So let's work another 4 spaces. And popcorn into the next treble right here. And continue like this in pattern around. This is not a difficult stitch pattern. You just have to count your spaces and your popcorns. So 4 spaces and then 2, and then again 4 and then 2, and in between them there's just popcorns. Okay, repeat around. I got at the end of this round, so after the last popcorn, just like in the previous round, work a treble into the beginning cluster here, and your stitch marker is the reference point where you look where is your center if you get confused. So treble into this beginning cluster, and round 2 is complete. Now round 3 is similar to round 1. Obviously you're going to have 1 popcorn here and here, kind of like this new popcorn will be on top of the very first one from the round 1. Here we're supposed to have also popcorn, but because it's the middle of the sleeve, we're not gonna have a popcorn here, so we're going to work this way. Round 3, begin again with a beginning 2 treble cluster. So chain 3, treble into the next stitch. In this case, it's the popcorn, to the next popcorn. Like this. And then work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So if we look from the beginning, this is our beginning space, so you do not count that, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th space would be here. And like I said, here you have to have a popcorn, okay? So let's work that popcorn. And this was only for the first repeat. You're gonna have only 5 spaces, but for all the other ones, you're gonna go in pattern, you're gonna have 6 spaces in between these popcorns. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. So continue in pattern. The space is still chain 4 and treble into the next treble or into the next popcorn. And then popcorn into the next stitch. This popcorn has to be on top of this popcorn, kind of like that, right? So basically round 3 repeats round 1. All right, continue in pattern all the way around, and here in the beginning make sure to check yourself by looking at the stitch marker so you don't get confused. You have to have 3 diamond shaped spaces here to know where your round ends. Once you get to the end of your round, let me show you. So this is my last popcorn, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Remember when we started this round there were 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. End with chain 4 and slip stitch into this treble here. So you see where you have the 2 popcorns, slip stitch into this treble. This was our beginning cluster, like this. Now you have 1, 2, 3 diamond shaped spaces on top of each other. And if you're gonna count your spaces, they will be symmetrically placed, symmetrically from the shoulder seam right here. So round 4. Start with chain 4 and then chain 3 for the space. Treble into the next treble. Like that. And continue working the spaces all around. Chain 3 and treble into the next treble. That's all you have to do for this round. So I'm kind of decreasing the circumference of this armhole, okay, of the sleeve. So continue around. And I got to the end of this round and ended with chain 3 and slip stitch into the 4th chain stitch of the first treble. This is how it looks now, here in the middle. And now you can take this stitch marker and move it up 1, 2, 3 and move it up into the first treble of the round.